Looks like I am live. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another live Q&A on June 30th, the last day of June 2020. About to go into July 2020. That's hard to believe, especially with what's been going on right now. But anyway, besides that, what's going on, guys? Another random live Q&A. So start throwing in your questions right now in the chat. We're going to wait for a good amount of people and a good amount of questions start flowing in. Just do me a huge favor, guys. If you're just tuning on in here, please hit that like button. Start hitting that like button. It would really mean that much to me. Helps the algorithm, helps the channel out personally. If you want to see more content, then consider clicking that subscribe button for more reviews, reactions, rankings, and more movie content. So anyway, live Q&A. So I'm going to be answering your guys' questions right now. Our first question comes from Trav Max Fun. What's going on, Trav Max? Good to see you in here. Who does your thumbnails? Cody is my editor, so he makes the thumbnails pretty much. Basically take all of my photos from the past and just makes it a beautiful, bright thumbnail. So Cody is the one who does my thumbnails. Scott, what's going on? You won another live stream. Woohoo. What's going on, Dawson's Universe? Yankee 88's in here. Dominic the Donkey. If this is your first time checking out the channel, let me know what video you first saw of me. I think you are a new subscriber. Yankee 88, favorite comedy of all time. I think my favorite comedy's got to be either The School of Rock or Big Lebowski. Either one of those. I got to go with The School of Rock just because I think that's a very underrated comedy. And Richard Linklater in particular, he's not really known for doing comedies. And I just think Jack Black in that movie is very funny. So if you haven't seen or haven't revisited School of Rock, definitely do that because I think it's very underrated. Play the Gamer, support from India. Play the Gamer, support from India. That is awesome to see. I don't know if I have many subscribers from India, but that's just really mind-blowing to me that I have subscribers from different parts of this world. So thank you so much for supporting the channel, Play the Gamer. Chris from Film Stock, what's going on, buddy? We just had Chris from Film Stock in our most recent episode of the Fallen for Film podcast. Thank you for agreeing to be our guest, Chris, and definitely go check out the recent episode of the Fallen for Film podcast. Yankee 88, worst film of the sequel trilogy. It's definitely Rise of Skywalker. That movie from the start was going to be a failure just because the whole trilogy really wasn't that planned out and thought out, and that movie just did everything wrong for what I wanted in personally. So I got to go with Rise of Skywalker. What's going on, Kevin Rios? Falcon B, great to see you. Nick Montez, favorite Disney animated film? It's The Lion King. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. I've talked to death about The Lion King on this channel. Just love everything about it. Dominic the Donkey. Do you like Amuse? I don't like Amuse that much, and I probably never even heard of that word, so. I just scrolled all the way to the bottom. Hang on. Nicholas Lloyd, I want to see Rogue One. Would you recommend it for me? Absolutely. I think Rogue One is the most underrated Star Wars movie or underappreciated. A lot of people, gave it negatives just because of the character moments. I think that movie does have forgettable characters, but I think the story in particular, what it did for the Star Wars universe, is just something very bold. I definitely recommend watching Rogue One. It's really good. What's up, McLovin? Film Stock, The Prestige or Memento? I'll probably go with Memento. I think Memento, Guy Pearce's performance I thought was very underrated, and the amnesia storyline just is really clever for me, and Nolan's direction, I think, for that is really well done. So I'm going to go with Memento. The Prestige is also very underrated. We got a lot of people in here. I'm going to check to see how many likes we have so far. How many likes? We got 20 people in here and only 9 thumbs up, guys. Let's get those thumbs up to 20. If you're tuning on in here, smash that like button and throw in your questions right now. We're going to do this awesome live Q&A. and let's have a great time. I don't know if I say your name right, Ewan. Is it Ewan? Ewan Moorfield. Realistically, when do you think we'll see another movie in theaters? That's really tough to predict because we're getting all of these movies getting delayed left to right. Tenet, Mulan, and all of them just got delayed again. And cases are starting to go back up again in certain states. It's really tough to predict. I really hope August is the time we're going to see movies back again in the cinema, but I honestly don't know if that's date's going to happen or stand. I just think all these studios should just put their release dates as TBT because we just have no idea when the safest time to open those theaters are. Because AMC delayed their opening, Regal as well. Just you need to put it to TBT. That's what I'd say. Yankee 88. Should I watch the Planet of the Apes trilogy or No Country for Old Men first? All those movies are fantastic. Definitely go what you want to watch first, but I definitely recommend watching all of them. If you want a really great gritty Western, definitely watch No Country for Old Men. That's my favorite Coen Brothers movie. Just it does something completely different with the genre. No lack of a score, and it has one of the best villains with Javier Bardem as Anton Chigurh. And the Planet of the Apes trilogy. I think that's one of the more overlooked trilogies of this past decade. I think that is a trilogy you definitely need to check out. Definitely watch both of them. Favorite scary scene in Hereditary? I'd say the scene where Toni Collette's character just starts to go mad when she's up in that the attic just banging her head. That was definitely the most creepiest scene for me. Except for the ending as well with the naked bodies. Trav Max, what's your thoughts on the Mamma Mia films? I don't like any of them. Those movies aren't for me. Watching the first one, it's very stereotypical musical with a lot of drama thrown into there. And the second one is one of the worst abominations. I don't know why they made that movie. Kevin Rios, thoughts on Superman Returns? Very forgettable movie. Really don't have much thoughts on that. Just not that great of a film if I can't remember anything about it. Best performance last decade. His choice would be Jake Gyllenhaal in Nightcrawler. I'd probably go with J.K. Simmons in Whiplash. That to me was like one of my favorite performances ever. And just the Oscar win is the most well-deserved Oscar win for me. His performance in that movie was just so groundbreaking, so over the top a-hole, but J.K. Simmons just absolutely nailed that role in Whiplash and easily the most deserved Oscar win of all time for me. Hey, MF Belgium, what's going on? Have I heard of Ingrid Bergman? Yes, I have heard of Ingrid Bergman. Superbad, Superbad. That's a great choice. La La Land or Mary Poppins? I got to go with Mary Poppins. That's just a classic to me. I watched that movie all the time when I was a kid. Julie Andrews' charismatic performance as Mary Poppins just always brings a smile to your face, and me personally. La La Land is the great classic musical. It's really enjoyable. There are a few issues with it, but I got to go with Mary Poppins. It's more of a classic for me. DC Comics or Marvel Comics? Now, I'm not a comic book reader, but many of the majority would say the DC Comics is the best. And you got those great storylines with Batman and Joker and the Justice League. So I definitely got to pay respects to the DC Comics on this one, but definitely the movies is Marvel. Thanos or Joker? I got to go with Joker. I just think it's my favorite comic book villain of all time. Just all the iterations, the comics that people talk about is just, you got to go with the Joker. It's just the best comic book villain ever. But Thanos, what they did with him, making him such a realistic character that you can sympathize with some parts of what he's doing, but he's going about it the wrong way. You can argue he's kind of like the hero of his own movie. And he was the main character of Infinity War. And you could argue he was doing a lot of heroic things, but in the wrong way. Who is the best character Tarantino has ever created? It's got to be either Hans Landa or Calvin Candy, one of his villains. Hans Landa is like that really great German military soldier, Hitler type of enthusiast. But I think Calvin Candy was just such a well thought out character. How insane Leonardo DiCaprio was as that character. Just one of my favorite performances in Tarantino in particular. So I'm going to go with Calvin Candy for this one. Another great one is Cliff Booth from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yes, guys, let's start throwing out some questions. If you got some really good questions, let's start throwing those out here. Greetings from Belgium. Yes, that says in your YouTube channel, MF Belgium. Welcome to the channel, man. Thank you so much for supporting. Damn, we got a lot of people in here. I got to go back up. La La Land or Whiplash? Whiplash. That's my favorite Damien Chazelle movie. One of my favorite movies of all time. What is my favorite series? If you're talking movie franchises, I did a video on this most recently. I got to go with the MCU just because the characters, the movies, and how much I do love the Marvel movies in particular, the characters, the storylines. Star Wars, but after some of the recent additions added in there, wasn't perfect, wasn't that great. I just got to go with the MCU just because it's the definition of how to build a cinematic universe, right? What's going on, Spongy? Favorite Nolan protagonist besides Batman? I got to go with Harvey Dent, Aaron Eckhart in The Dark Knight. That's a very underrated performance from that movie. A lot of people had issues with the Two-Face storyline, the transition from him to a villain. But I just think when he was Harvey Dent, when he was the White Knight that everyone looks up to, Aaron Eckhart gives a really underrated performance in there. Hey, look who's here. Who's this Colin Williams guy? Colin Williams, my co-host of the Colin for Film podcast. What's going on, man? What's a movie that is painfully unfunny or a comedy everyone thinks is funny, but you don't? For me, that's a tough question. I would probably go with either... I'll come back to that one. Cody, fix the angle. Okay. Favorite character in the DCU? I would probably go with Wonder Woman. I think Gal Gadot, the way they set up Wonder Woman in the Justice League wasn't the best, but in her movie was just really grounded, and it's a character that you can look up to, really. I just thought Wonder Woman was really well done. You could take it in a grounded way. They took a cheesy character and made it like a heroic figure. So I'll go with Wonder Woman. I already answered that. McLovin, most underrated movie of all time, is The School of Rock. I just think that movie is super underrated. I think a lot more people need to check that film out. Just the comedy all around. I always pick The School of Rock. Instant Family is another very underrated movie. So many great ones. I do a segment on the podcast called Underrated and Overrated Movie Picks of the Week, and I always pick like some of my favorite underrated movies. Dunkirk or 1917. This is easy. 1917. Dunkirk I thought was very overrated, overpraised, just wasn't for me all around. 1917 had a lot of the things that Dunkirk didn't have, which is characters we could resonate with and a different story all around. And I thought the story and the character moments in 1917 were way better than Dunkirk. They were made for different purposes. But for me, it's 1917. That might be my favorite war movie of all time. Thoughts on Ridley Scott? What is your favorite film with his? It's got to be Alien. Alien, just the concept, the sci-fi nature, and the creature designs, making it into a horror movie, and the direction all around Ridley Scott does, making every single character feel vulnerable and just challenged by this xenomorph creature. It's just iconic to me. There's a lot of Ridley Scott movies I love, like Gladiator and The Martian. Blade Runner, I think, is his most overrated movie, but I got to go with this one, Alien. Do I have hopes for Taika Waititi's new Star Wars film? Absolutely. I have hope for any director stepping into a new movie. I think with Taika Waititi, what he did with The Mandalorian, just that one episode, even though it's a TV series, but I think Taika Waititi has proven he could do comedy mixed with the drama elements. With this Star Wars movie, though, it'll be great for him to step into that universe, make his own movie all around, and just make it fun. I just think Taika does that really well with Thor Ragnarok, in particular, and some of his other movies. What's more scary, Alien or Halloween? They're both completely different movies. For me, it's Alien. Halloween was more of like that running away from the monster type of movie, but I just love the suspense John Carpenter built in that first Halloween movie. But for Alien, it's hiding away from a scary creature that we don't know what to do with it. And so those hit more with me. One second, guys. All right, let's get back to the questions. Colin Williams, more iconic movie, not necessarily the best. Jaws or Jurassic Park? Both are very iconic right here. I think that's a tie. Jaws was very iconic as the first major blockbuster, which, by the way, I will be reviewing Jaws for the 4th of July this week. It's the first groundbreaking blockbuster to come out, and Spielberg just directed that very well as a movie about a shark that is ruining stuff left to right. And Jurassic Park is iconic in seeing dinosaurs and CGI looking totally realistic and just the characters all around. So I got to go with a tie for that one, as both iconic. Hey, what's going on, Samuel Caps? Thoughts on Scarface? Scarface, it's iconic mostly because of Al Pacino. I think that's what you may think for a Pacino movie all around. I mean, it's got great gangster elements and stuff like that, but really the only thing I just remember is just Al Pacino's just his gritty Al Pacino over the top performance. So that's not a movie I love, to be honest. Thoughts on Kalu? I did not see Kalu when I was a kid. I know that was like a show that was like pretty popular in my generation, but that was a show I didn't get into. Can I quote K2SO? Yes, sir. I am K2SO. Would you like to join us on our journey? Was that good? Probably not. Best movie that starts with a Y. You're next. Damn, that's a tough question. The one I can think of is You're Next. Favorite MCU moment that's not from Endgame? Probably Bring Me Thanos from Infinity War, or in Winter Soldier, when it's got to be the moment when we first see Winter Soldier like come out in that battle of Winter Soldier when he shoots Nick Fury's car and then the car flips over. That was just an awesome moment. Oh, and the elevator fight. We can't forget about that moment. I wish, Cody. I know Temple of Doom is your least favorite of the original indie films, but can you list off some things you like about the movie? I like its boldness, the fact that it's not afraid to go really dark, especially with the other Indiana Jones movies. I think it's very funny. I think it's one of the funnier of the Indiana Jones movies. And the fact that Spielberg was just not afraid to really make his own movie. And with Raiders, it was just an icon of the action genre. But this one, it's more iconic in the fact that it's overlooked in what it can do. I love the Jurassic Park franchise. I really like the first one. The other installments have their issues, but I just really enjoy the dino elements of what they bring into those movies. Thoughts on the Shrek movies? I've only seen the first two. I think just the first two alone are just great in particular, and the other installments just completely lose the tracks. Thank you all so much for being in here, guys. If you're just tuning on in here, definitely throw your questions right now in the chat and hit that like button. We got 24 thumbs up and we got 33 people watching in here. So do me a huge favor, hit that like button. Let's get that thumbs up button up and going and continuing on answering your questions. We're going to be on here for just a few more minutes because I got to go pick up a family member. Family comes first. Well, deep in the film score, Spongy. I do a segment on the podcast called Underrated and Overrated Movie Picks. So a lot of my hot takes are on those first few episodes. Birdman, Dunkirk, Eternal Sunshine, some other ones that I think are very overrated and didn't deserve the love that they should. Do I consider Last Crusade to be an action movie like Raiders? Yeah, definitely. I think the action in Last Crusade is for sure amazing. There's a lot of great car chases, just like the first one, and a lot of indie fight scenes. In that one, I just love the interplay between Harrison Ford and Sean Connery in there. So I definitely consider it an action film. Favorite movie of 2020 so far is gotta be The Five Bloods from Spike Lee. I love Spike Lee and what he did with that movie, making it a war movie as well as just a film with a very powerful message we need to be watching right now. So The Five Bloods has some of my favorite performances of the year. Colin Williams, what movies should just be dumped to streaming or VOD, and what movies need to be delayed until theaters are safe? Definitely New Mutants is the first one that needs to go straight to VOD. That movie has just been disgraced and unlucky. Just give up. Release it to streaming. We just need to see that movie as soon as possible. That's the first one I can think of that needs to go straight to VOD. Bill and Ted Face the Music definitely needs to go straight to VOD. I mean, it's an iconic classic like Bill and Ted. I just think that movie should just go right to VOD and skip theaters. Movies that need to be delayed: Tenet, Mulan, Black Widow, Quiet Place, whatever you can think of. Those theatrical releases. Don't know if that's going to get delayed or not. Just those big theater experiences we need to see in the theaters. So those are the ones I can think of. Thanks, Colin. Andrew Luck, have you seen Wind River with Elizabeth Olsen and Jeremy Renner? Yes, Wind River is absolutely fantastic, and I actually picked that movie in a Fallen for Film podcast episode. I think that movie, I agree, is very underrated, very underseen. Taylor Sheridan, love what he did writing the script for Hell or High Water or Sicario. And Jeremy Renner and Elizabeth Olsen, they work well in the Avengers movies, Scarlet Witch and Hawkeye, and they work really well here in this movie. If you could see one of the movies that has been delayed right now, I got to go with that would have come out. You don't count. All right, I won't choose Tenet. I would definitely choose Quiet Place 2. That was my third most anticipated film of the year. As soon as that movie was delayed, I was crushed. So I got to see A Quiet Place 2 ASAP, Tenet ASAP, and Dune ASAP. Favorite Best Picture winner this last decade? Parasite, easily. Parasite is, I think, one of the movies that actually deserved the Best Picture win this past decade. Aladdin or Beauty and the Beast, the original animated versions? Aladdin. I think Aladdin's very classic for me. Robin Williams, rest in peace as the genie. It's a very fun movie. Beauty and the Beast is just gorgeous. Halloween or Nightmare on Elm Street? I gotta go with Halloween. Michael Myers as a character, just to me, that works. A lot of the Nightmare movies didn't work for me, except for like the first one, the third one, and Wes Craven's New Nightmare. So I liked a little more Halloween movies than Nightmare. Axe or Old Spice? I am a Axe guy, so I get a lot of Axe sprays. You know. Thanks for that, Colin. My least favorite film of all time is Superman 4: The Quest for Peace. When do you think we'll get a trailer for Mandalorian Season 2? I think that trailer will come out either around when they delayed Star Wars Celebration to August. That could be my first guess when they release that trailer, or early September. I am hoping we get it in August. I've not seen the Now You See Me movies. Best movie from the 2000s? It's The Dark Knight for me. I agree. I think Eternal Sunshine is very overrated. I did a review on that actually most recently, so if you want to go check that out. Just a lot of people praise that movie as one of the greatest films ever made, or romance movies, but on first viewing, I didn't get the hype really. X-Men The Last Stand versus Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man 3, I definitely agree. I don't hate that movie. It could have been great if they taken out the Venom storyline. My thoughts on American Sniper. It's okay. Like, it's not that great. Best Picture nomination? I wouldn't have given it a Best Picture nomination. What song do I like more? Caravan. Just the whole final 10 minutes of Whiplash and the drumming is just amazing. Thoughts on Mary Poppins 1 and 2? The first one is definitely the best one. The second one's actually a really good sequel. It's a lot of fun. Emily Blunt definitely does justice for Julie Andrews, but Julie Andrews is the more iconic performance and character all around. So I'll go with the first Mary Poppins. Favorite actor and actress? My favorite actor has got to be either Hugh Jackman, Jake Gyllenhaal, or Leonardo DiCaprio. I've always said Hugh Jackman's my favorite actor. So Hugh Jackman for me. An actress has got to be Scarlett Johansson. I just love all the movies she does, and I think she's an amazing actress. Favorite scene from a comic book movie? The portal scene from Endgame, the interrogation scene from The Dark Knight, the Wakanda battle from Infinity War, the highway fight from Winter Soldier, elevator fight from Winter Soldier. Those are some ones to think of. The airport battle from Civil War. Colin Williams, what's your favorite and least favorite video you've ever done? Great question. My least favorite video, probably, it's got to be either my first videos by how boring they were. Probably my review for The Revenant, which was my very first movie review I ever did on my channel, if you guys want to go check it out. By the way, I've gotten a lot of requests to react to my older videos, and I definitely will do that. I'm thinking of planning on doing that like very soon, during this hiatus. So you guys will definitely be getting that video. Yeah, my least favorite's probably got to be that Revenant review. My favorite, I would say my favorite movies of all time video. That was like a very hard project in the making, and just me making that video, how long it took and how much passion I had for making it. So yeah, those are some of my picks right there. Great question, Colin. Thoughts on Independence Day? It's an absolute classic. It's very cheesy, but I absolutely love the lines that are said in that movie. What do you think is better in The Dark Knight, the characters or the story? Everything for me. I would say the characters all around. Joker, Batman, Harvey Dent, Rachel, just all the directions each character goes, I feel are well earned and well adapted for their characters. And the story all around, a lot of people complain about the story being a mix of a crime movie, chasing the Joker, the love story, the Two-Face storyline. I think the story is great. I know some parts wasn't the best, but I just think the characters is what made that movie so amazing. Birdman is very overrated. I think it's the most overrated film this past decade. There's great parts to it, the cinematography, the one-take filmmaking, and all that is great. The story does not resonate with me like a lot of people. So I didn't hate Birdman. It's not an awful movie. I just don't think it's that amazing or a masterpiece like people praise it to be. Most recent movie I watched, what was the most recent movie? I think it was Eurovision. Yeah, the Netflix movie with Will Ferrell. Yeah, that movie wasn't that great. Biggest Oscar snub has got to be Jake Gyllenhaal from Nightcrawler. For me, that's still an Oscar snub I have not forgiven them on. There's just a lot of Oscar snubs this past decade that I thought were a shocker. Andrew Garfield and The Social Network was a big snub. Willem Dafoe and The Lighthouse. There's just a lot of snubs, but for me, Jake Gyllenhaal was easily the biggest snub. Alrighty, guys, I'm going to answer a few more questions here, then I got to head out and go pick up my stepdad. Dark Knight or Inception? Definitely The Dark Knight. What do I want to see in an MCU X-Men movie? Wolverine, absolutely. A new take for each of these characters. You know, we got the original X-Men characters, the new ones. Just do something new with these characters and actually give depth and care into the whole series, because the X-Men franchise definitely deserves that. Absolutely. I would absolutely be disappointed if, and they won't. They won't. The studio won't. This is a $200 million budget movie. Nolan will absolutely not allow that. So there's absolutely no way Tenet's dropping on VOD. If you watch my favorite movie franchise video, Andrew, it's Star Wars for me. Even though, you know, I got Rise of Skywalker and Solo, it's still Star Wars to me. The world, the characters, the score from John Williams, and Harry Potter's amazing. But for me, the franchise I always love and revisit more is Star Wars. Thoughts on Hamilton upcoming to Disney Plus? I am super pumped because I've never seen the full show of Hamilton. Obviously, it's one of those musicals that was very hard to purchase tickets to, very expensive. You had to be rich to see that movie live. Love Lin-Manuel Miranda. I just think he's an excellent creator, and what he did with his musicals, Hamilton and In the Heights, which is a movie coming out next year. I am super pumped to finally watch it on Disney Plus. Hang on, I'm going to answer a couple more questions here. Sorry, guys. All right, you know what? I'm just going to pick questions randomly here. Least favorite scene from Denis Villeneuve. My least favorite movie, probably Incendies. Not that it's a bad movie. Denis Villeneuve makes amazing movies all around. Just that movie, it comes to rewatchability when it comes to Denis Villeneuve, and that's the one I rewatch the least. What music artists / bands haven't gotten a biopic should get a biopic? Great question, Matthew Kircher. Michael Jackson, that's the easiest pick for me. I really hope they do something like what they did with Bohemian Rhapsody or Rocket Man when it comes to Michael Jackson, because he obviously wasn't a perfect human being, but obviously honor his songs and what he did in the pop music culture. What's a good movie that you'll never rewatch? 12 Years a Slave. Just a one watch, way too much stuff in it. Amazing movie, well made. Just that's a film I'll never watch again. And one more question to go. We'll answer one more. All right, we'll answer this one. Dorito Chip Gamer, best choreographed fight scene. It's got to be the fight scene with Jason Bourne versus Desh in the Bourne Ultimatum. It's very shaky cam, but the hand-to-hand choreography is some of the best I've ever seen. And Bourne and Desh, they're two power clans clashing together one-on-one. So that's definitely my choice. Anyway, guys, that was a very quick live Q&A. I would love to stay on longer, but I got to go pick up my stepdad. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this random live Q&A. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for all the questions. And if you haven't yet, please hit that like button and consider clicking that subscribe button for more reviews, reactions, rankings, and more movie content. Got a lot of videos dropping this week. I got a review for Jaws coming out because of 4th of July, and Hamilton as well comes out on Disney+. So look forward to all those reviews this week. Thank you guys so much for watching. All my social media links are in the description below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye! Have a great day, guys.